big boss that's special. It ain't no game, but they saying welcome to the second level. Second level. Second level, baby. Second level.
Hello, Internet, and welcome back to our Day 2 coverage of Pixelpop 2018. I'm here with Francesca and Mike from Contigo Games, and we're dealing with Starcrossed today. We just had a fun play of it. Now, I will say, it's difficult for us to play this game, mostly because co-op is not really ideal for me and Keegan. So we did predictably awful at the game. You guys played way better than we did, but for like a quick elevator pitch of what Starcrossed actually is, would you mind telling me and or the camera kind of what we're looking at here?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, Starcrossed is a cooperative game. It's built from the ground up for two-player co-op. It is about magical girls in space who have to work together to save the galaxy.
Perfect.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of fun, I think. So the way that it works is it's sort of like an arcade shoot 'em up, but instead of shooting a projectile, your weapon actually bounces between you and your partner. So it's all about positioning in relation to your partner, and that's how you take out the enemies.
And it's not, you don't really have, I would almost say the mechanics are kind of easy to pick up as far as the shooting part of it, because you really don't have to do that. Like you said, it's a case of it's already going.
Yes.
It's just like, where do I have to be to have the most effect, I guess?
Yeah.
And you almost get two chances to take out the enemies, because as it's coming to you, you can position somewhere behind an enemy,
Yeah.
and as it's going out, you
Yep,
can push it
exactly.
somewhere else as well. Where did this idea even come from? It's kind of a unique thing. I've never seen anything quite like it. So where did you dream this up from?
It actually has a bit of a unique backstory as well.
I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, so this project started out at a 3-hour-long game jam.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so should I define game jam? Would that be helpful?
I think they should be familiar, but for those of you that don't know,
Okay.
the game jam is where you get to create a game in a very short time period. And apparently in this time period, it was 3 hours. So
yes, which is
there you go.
very, very difficult to do.
Very short, yeah. Usually it's at least like 2 days or something. Yeah.
Yes, so usually it's like a weekend. In this case, we had 3 hours, so we thought of this like
Yikes.
bouncy. Yeah, it was. We were a little tired afterwards, but we brainstormed this sort of like bouncing back and forth mechanic. That's all we got done in the 3 hours. But it was very well received, and we ended up continuing this idea and developing it more, adding some more mechanics, and eventually getting our characters
When
in
did
there.
the Space Girls come into it? Because there's quite
it was
a
always
leap
about
from
Space
bouncing
Girls.
back and forth
Yeah.
projectiles to 5 Space Girls.
Yeah,
doing
I think it was always about Space Girls. Like even our original
The
characters.
core
Yeah.
value was always that you wanted girls in space.
Yeah.
Why not, man?
Yeah, we need more games.
Women
I think
of
about,
NASA
about
unite.
girls. Yes.
Yeah. I feel like, would you like to comment on anything so far,
I'm really
sir?
excited.
I was going to say, the whole theme of the game has always been about togetherness, working together, and it fits all the themes of all the magical girl media that's out there.
Right.
So that's always been a focus of the gameplay, the theme, the styling.
Space girl
from
magic.
the ground up.
Yeah. Okay, so like I said, we got to play it for a little bit. One thing that we couldn't pull off, but you guys did pull off perfectly, was ultimates. So let's talk a little bit about like how you build those up, what effects they have, how did you decide on what would be cool, what wouldn't be cool, that kind of stuff.
Yes, that's a new mechanic we're showing off here at Pixelpop, actually.
Right.
So this is the first time we're showing it. But yeah, so at the bottom of the screen you have a sync meter, and when the star is close to you, if you press the A button, you can punch it, and that fills up your sync meter, allowing the star to go faster. You get a higher score multiplier, and if you stay in sync with your partner for long enough, it'll start filling up your ult meter. And that lets you launch these big flashy effects that basically will help you wipe out the whole screen of enemies.
Is there underlying metaphor of harmony and working together with the whole kind of like punching and being in sync, or is that just like a happy accident?
No,
You're
I think,
nodding.
Like, yeah, no, I think definitely like from the very beginning, like even our studio name is Contigo Games, which means
Right.
like with you, or it's all about togetherness.
Okay.
So we want to make games that really like bring players together and like encourage this like cooperation. So all of the ultimates and all of this like star boosting mechanic, it really relies on you being in sync with your partner and communicating. It's been really fun going to events and even getting like siblings who will come and play this game, and their parents will be like,
Nightmare.
I've never seen them
Working
sit
together.
and play anything for more than like 2 seconds before they fight. But like having this mechanic that's entirely reliant on them cooperating
Right.
really encourages like that sort of behavior.
And then when they mess up,
Yeah.
yelling at each other.
A little bit, but
Hopefully
usually
not,
they're like,
yeah.
let's try again. Like, we were so close.
It does
So,
definitely
yeah.
have that like one more try. Even me
Yeah.
and him were
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of just like, one more go, we can do it.
Yeah, yeah.
We didn't, but we thought we could. So as far as right now, it's set up as a couch co-op game,
Yes.
right? Local co-op only. Is there plans for maybe online down the road, or do you think that would be too weird with the lag, or?
Yeah, so that's something we thought about when we were designing the game. So unfortunately, we're not going to be doing online because we are a relatively small studio. And
it's a lot, yeah,
server-wise
and
it's a lot
everything.
to handle, and also since we didn't build it with that intention, going back and adding that in would be a little
You know
difficult.
what, man? More couch co-op is needed in the world anyway.
That's what we think. That's what
There's
we
not
think.
enough of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think some of the better kind of newer releases of games that we've seen that have like a big push on couch co-op, things like Overcooked, you know, that have kind of got out there and become very popular.
Yeah, we're huge fans.
Yeah, there's something to be said for that, you know, for being able to actually sit next to the person and kind of vibe with them on it.
Yeah.
So what is your favorite aspect of the game so far?
So for me, I love doing the balancing and game design of it.
Okay.
So constantly tweaking like the enemy waves, like making it so it.
Because they're procedural. We figured that out when I got swamped with like 10 of them. But yeah.
So it is a procedural generation system where it gets harder over time, but at the same time, we're also trying to make sure that it doesn't get too hard for most players. We're also making it kind of detect how well you're doing in the game, so that way, if you're someone who plays a lot of shoot 'em ups and you want something that's really challenging, the game will adjust to you. But if you want something more casual, it will adjust to that as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that's a big focus, is we want to make the game approachable to more people, because we love these styles of games, but like I'm pushed away from most of them. Once the screen is filled with bullets, I'm like, why am I playing this?
Right.
So.
There is definitely a bullet hell aspect to some of it, but it's not overwhelming. It's not like those crazy bullet hells that you see coming out of Japan, where it's literally just like 1,000 things on screen at one time.
There's a
you
place
have the
you need
tiniest
to be
slither you
to
can go
live.
through. Right. What about you? What's your favorite aspect so far? Is it the Space Girls?
Yeah. I would definitely say like the visual aspects, not only the characters, but also like being able to add in all of these like really flashy elements.
Right.
Recently we've been adding in a lot of these like visual polish elements of doing like lots of particle effects and lots of like sparkles and all of these things. And I think that's really satisfying when people are playing. It just really adds to like the game feel and the motivation
Absolutely.
for players. So, and also like trying to figure out how to nail those elements with this sort of like magical girl aesthetic that we have going on,
Right.
and like what that looks like.
How
It's
does
been
it
fun.
fit?
It just sparkles everywhere.
Yeah.
Just like so many sparkles.
Is there, so the level that we played was
Yeah.
obviously like space. Is there plans for kind of different venues and avenues and stuff of, I guess, locale in general? I mean, they are space girls, so
Yeah.
ultimately they have to be in space. But are we having like like spaceships in the background or anything like maybe alien planets or anything like that in the works, or is it just kind of focusing on mostly just now the narrative and then the space?
Yeah, I don't want to promise too much, but we are
Okay.
working on some different environmental
All
things
right.
for the background, just to give it
Shake
a little
it up
variety.
a little bit,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
Maybe
Yeah.
have some crazy little aliens in the background, just
I would
cheering
love
you
that.
on or something like in Street
I would
Fighter.
love that. Yes.
Right?
Okay. Yeah.
I
We'll,
want full
we'll
credit
put
for that
in
if that
for you.
happens. Cool. So Starcrossed, I honestly think is one of my favorite games of the festival so far.
Thank you.
Honestly,
Thank you so much.
I had a blast playing it. I don't know if he did, but I'm sure he enjoyed it, but he sucks at it. So where can we learn more about Starcrossed as it sort of reaches fuller development, and like what are your social links, stuff like that? Right at the camera if you don't mind.
Yeah, so you can find us online on Twitter. We are at Contigo Games. If you're interested in checking out more specifically the game, it's at Play Starcrossed, and that's the same for our website URL. So we're contigo-games.com or playstarcrossed.com.
There you go. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
So yeah, you guys can go and check out Starcrossed there. I highly recommend it, especially if you're competitive and you have someone that you can play with. But it is a really good time. So thanks so much for your time. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.
It ain't no game, but they saying welcome to the second level.